I wanted this process to be as inspired as it could be, so that I felt like I was doing it justice, that I was practicing my faith in the work itself rather than just outwardly representing it.
We felt like this was a really important moment of interfaith dialogue where we have a Latter-day Saint artist who is looking to make Easter more significant to him and to other audience members, and he's looking to other traditions that have a really rich history of doing this already.
I feel more full of faith when I give myself permission to encounter truth from any source. And the world is full of good people who believe true things, and it's a blessing to me to spend time with the Stations of the Cross tradition.
The Way of the Cross features David Habben, an artist who's done his own series of Stations of the Cross, which is a long-standing tradition, mostly within Roman Catholicism, that traces Jesus' final path and steps on the road to Calvary.
I was really drawn to it because I love this idea of this personal connection that people were having with those steps between the Garden of Gethsemane and the cross, and the visuals that can help them do that.
One of the wonderful things about David's is his illustration style. They're really compelling.
I was immediately impressed by the way that he kind of walks the line between abstraction and representation in his work. There's bold colors, there's strong lines, but there's so much humanity.
The key for me was this personal journey. How can I use what I do specifically to connect with this process? And so I leaned into what I do. So we've got, very affordable paper, and we're not doing like massive canvases and all the things. We've got spray paints, inks, colored pencil. Things are very accessible, things anybody can try. It was a very spiritual process for me. There was no question where a mark needed to go. Not because of I'm so, practiced at art. It was because there was literally a spirit in the room. It's like, and now do this, and now do that. And the hand needs to go here. And this is the color you should use. And make sure you draw her face like this. It was one of the most testimony building experiences of my life. It just felt like the Spirit said, this is what you would say. This is how you need to understand that principle, and that's for you.
We worked really hard to recreate display conventions that you would see with any other set of stations in a church. For example, they're often up in counterclockwise order. We did that. We tried to source an antique pew, and we're able to find a beautiful piece. And the 15th station functions almost like an altar. It's in the middle of the room. It's the focal point of the gallery.
My hope now is that it's a connecting point to see that there are many ways to approach Christ and approach the crucifixion and the atonement that we still have yet to learn.
This exhibition is not only up at the same time as the Ghiberti Gates of Paradise exhibition, but it's in the two galleries that immediately follow that exhibition. And so it's a really wonderful thing, I think, for viewers to see Ghiberti first, these Old Testament scenes that point to Jesus Christ coming and fulfilling his role as the Savior, and then also spending time with him during those final moments and getting to celebrate triumph over death.
The idea came up of music, and I've been good friends with Andrew Maxfield for a long time, and I know he'd worked with Sound of Ages Choir, and I was like, let's get Andrew Maxfield. And the minute that he heard about it, he was like, yeah, I'm in.
I wanted to respond to the same subject matter in my voice musically. You don't have to go to the Holy Land in order to walk with Jesus. And the notion of walking with Jesus is the central idea of this notion of pilgrimage. In my piece, Stations of the Cross, musically we're doing exactly that.
There are things in Andrew's music, like the sixth station in particular, which it's the one where Veronica is wiping Jesus' face. There's a soprano line who stands in for Veronica, and the text mentions how she's moved with compassion, and her voice just soars out of the choral texture. There's something about the combination of listening to that and then the immediate impact of the visual.
Compassion, compassion.
One of the things David, as a Latter-day Saint, wanted to include was a 15th station, where the stations don't end with Jesus' body being laid in the tomb, which is typically the 14th station, but it actually concludes with a resurrection scene.
All of the suffering, all of the pain, all the experience of the atonement was to lead to this resurrection. We're focusing on the risen, living Christ.
It concludes in this incredibly light resurrection scene that's on lighter paper. The Savior's form is done in gold ink and paint rather than the black lines that are in the previous series. I hope people feel like they can slow down and they can spend time with Jesus in the darkness, so that when he emerges into the light, that there's a greater appreciation for everything that meant.
In the moment when we reach out and say, I've got these skills, I've got this experience, what do you want me to do? He's right there to tell you. I think he's waiting for us to say, this is who I am. What do you want me to do with who I am? As opposed to, how can I be more like everybody else? Because when I was working with these stations, making the drawings, I was saying to myself, I'm not this kind of painter, I'm not that kind of artist, I'm not this kind of thing. This is what I am, but whatever I've got right now, I'm gonna give it to you. He's like, oh, now we're thinking. You're saying that you're grateful for who I made you to be, and you want to use yourself effectively.